Welcome back to the Garden Hutch. Today we're going to take a look at the pallet garden and the greenhouses. Let's get going. So today I wanted to kind of continue on the Friday tradition of looking at different gardens each week. So what we're going to do today is just kind of go through the pallet garden, discuss where the different beds are at. We're going to take a look in the greenhouses. I need to do a bit of work in there. You'll see what I mean when I get there. And then I think what we're going to do is kind of talk about what's coming up a little bit, because the greenhouses kind of naturally point to the future. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our pallet garden looks like right now. I'm telling you, I am loving the change in weather for a few days at least. I got up this morning to come out and it was like 63 degrees outside. And while that's not cold, after the last few weeks, it certainly felt that way. Right now, let's just kind of take a look at what we got going on here in the pallet garden. As you can see, our purple hulls are starting to come along nicely. We've had quite a few of these. I have had to chase a few of the grasshoppers out. They get in here and munch on my leaves and my beans, but overall I'm really happy with the way this turns out. These 4x4 beds give quite a bit of purple hulls. We'll do a review video for the summer and kind of go over what I think our wins and losses are or whatever, but I do believe next year that these pallet gardens are going to be predominantly tomatoes and peppers. They just do so well. I went ahead, you can tell that I recently pulled out the watermelons. I just leave them over here for the chickens to kind of munch on. We'll bust them up after they sit for a little while. Just do one each day when it's a little warm. It gives them some extra electrolytes. You want me to throw your ball, Boo? Well, I'm kind of in the middle of something, but I'll do it here in a minute, okay? As you can see here in a few weeks, I'll be filling this up, or I guess we'll be getting some more of our compost, and I'll be filling and topping this bed off and then covering it with leaves. This bed here and that bed there are predominantly going to be used for lettuce, I believe, this year. Although I'm almost wanting to say I want to put beets in that bed specifically. I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. But you can see that bed has been filled and prepped, and you can see how low this bed is. So this week we'll get this guy filled and prepped, get a little extra fertilizer in there, make sure we put in some of the trace amendments, that sort of thing, just to make sure that our fall plants have what they need. And of course, it's not a bad time to go ahead and start preparing for next spring either, if you're not going to use your beds. If we go on this way, these are the Nada-pinos, and they are just killing it this year, man. You can see all these small ones. I have put away more of these dadgum peppers than I know what to do with. We've got a whole shelf full, so we're at that time of year now to where all of these little peppers that are starting to set, and you can see in here there are some that have already set and are starting to swell in size. These will more than likely be gifted to somebody, or I might try something new. I made like a pepper relish out of like 4 or 5 different peppers earlier this week. I haven't had a chance to try it. It has to set for like 7 days. You know, if that tastes good, maybe what I'll do is go ahead and make some more of that. I don't know though. It might be a little spicy. You know, I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to that sort of things. And let's go over here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but our bees this morning are also loving. You see how active they are this morning? It's fantastic, coming in with full pollen sacs. We've been taking off the sunflowers, the heads of the sunflowers. Chickens love those things, man. I don't know, it kind of worked out having them there this year. I don't know, maybe next year I might build a little bed on the back side of it. I didn't notice the bees specifically putting a lot of attention to them, but now again, the pallet garden is going through quite a bit of transition. It's nice though, because I'm starting to see my fall garden come together, and truthfully, I'm getting that, I'm starting to get the taste for more of our beets and turnips and turnip greens and lettuces and that sort of stuff. So Once you know, the temperatures cool off, we'll take a look in the greenhouses here in a minute, and that'll give you a better time frame, I guess. But we're hoping to have all the beds except for the Nata Pino bed. That one there will probably stay all the way up until the first freeze, depending on how the plants themselves. But they, you know, they're still getting after it, so I don't see any reason in getting rid of them as long as they're doing productive, right? So this bed again we're gonna fill it full of something, probably turnips or beets or lettuce or something along those lines. We'll also use the trough up here. It does really well with lettuce, so this will just be a straight lettuce bed. Hopefully I can get the chickens out of it. In the fall they did just fine with it and they didn't get up there and bother it, but this summer they went through and wiped it out pretty good. So the last bed I want to show here in the Pallet garden is the beef master tomatoes. No, I'm sorry, beef steak. We grew beef masters last year. I keep getting them confused. Anyway, our big tomato bed. There's a few tomatoes that I'm waiting to get right, but as you can see, you see how small those are compared to what they, you know, I mean, we were getting some that were, you know, almost 2 fist size whenever they first came out for the first month and a half or so, and now they're much smaller and they've got kind of an odd shape to them. But you know, kind of like this guy here, I'm waiting. I want to get the very last tomatoes that I can, and I'm not really in any hurry to fill this bed up, so I'm going to let it go for a little while longer. I don't know, maybe by the end of the week, next week or so, it'll be ready to go. So I guess my goal really is by mid-September to have our fall gardens kind of set up and ready to go. And if I have the space, I don't see any reason in removing the tomatoes. What do we find in the pepper bed this morning? Hey, Beans. Look at this silly cat. All right, so the old greenhouse, as you can see, it is kind of filled with stuff in here. No big deal. You know, of course, we're going to be filling these trays up over time. We've got quite a few of them filled now. We'll be pulling more out as the days go along. But a lot of these things in here, you know, that's going to be for our winter. So we like to keep it out here just in case we have like a freeze sneak up on us or whatever. Of course, that's not anytime soon, but in Arkansas, you just never know. You know, we've had freezes as early as October before. So if you go ahead and get all of your fall vegetables in, you sure don't want just like a freeze to come through and wipe everything out. But as I said earlier, you can see it's a little bit messy in here. So it's time to probably get in here, get tidied up. Maybe I can get Beans to come over and do some work for me. And we'll go over here to the new greenhouse, kind of take a look in there. And it's a little bit more tidy only because I've been using it a bit more. This little pepper plant, it's, you know, it hadn't done hardly anything all season long. And in the last 4 weeks or so, it has just kind of started taking off. So I don't know if we'll get peppers or not off of it, but we had one left that we didn't have any room for, so we just stuck it in there to see what happens. Now, we've got all of these lettuce plants. Down here we have the beets, and then our greens are on the other side. Turnip greens on the bottom, mustard greens on the top. You can see what I do is I put these little trays up here, or on that, in that situation over there, I put the boxes on top. It'll fry these little baby seeds if they're on the top row and they don't have a little shade. But just having a little cover on them, they have started to do really well. So that was sort of one of those learn by your mistakes type things. I had the turnips up there the first round and it fried half of them. I learned from that mistake and I covered the top rows, and now our seedlings are doing really well. I'm not sure, you can see, I don't know if you can get in there and see those that had died. Those are the ones that fried whenever I put them on the top row. And it didn't take them long either. They died in, I mean, it was just a few hours of being in that direct sun. So we put them down here to get more of an ambient type light, and it has really worked out for us. Before I let you folks go, I'm going to ask again, if you could do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. That's going to help us reach our 1,000 subscriber goal by the end of the year. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, make sure to give it a like. Helps us get recommended to more people. As always, I appreciate all y'all hanging out with me today. Till next time, I hope everyone takes care of themselves. Peace.